always trying to figure out how to adjust
I
my
know.
screen for these double whammies.
This
How
is
are
pretty
you? It's
good. This is a
so
good
good to
distance.
see you.
You too. I'm still on a cough drop. It's been like day 20 of this cough.
No.
So it's okay. It's just funny because I still can't speak properly. But,
You sound great.
Thank you. And you look beautiful. And I know that, I don't know how you're doing it right now. I don't know how you guys are all doing it. I mean, honestly, so Elise, for those of you who don't know, hi everybody, thanks for joining. Elise is in LA. So she's in Playa del Rey area, which is, I'm not going to give away your exact neighborhood, but like near there, which is
we're closest to the Palisades fire, just south of the Palisades
close,
fire.
so you're considered a safe zone. I mean, God knows, but
yes. I mean, we're all on alert now. You know, the winds picked back up today. So it's for anyone in the vicinity, it's kind of a constant state of fight or flight, you know, watching alerts, taking turns, checking in on alerts. And of course,
I heard you guys are getting, I'm not interested in the blame game. I find it very fascinating how people are, especially at this point. I mean, I think there's something to learn from mistakes, and I think we're humans and people make mistakes. I'm sure there have been some mistakes made, whatever. But something this of magnitude, you can't do that. It's just something you have to figure out and get through. And so I have heard there have been some false alarms though too, which is hard.
Yeah, I think that, you know, the city of Los Angeles is figuring it out. This is a natural disaster beyond the scope of any human containment. And we have the best firefighters in the world, you know, and we have gotten a lot of support from Mexico, from Canada, from other Arizona firefighters coming in. Yeah. It really is. There's a lot to be said about the amazing selflessness of humanity in times like this. It makes me emotional. There really is. Like when I go to volunteer and you see that places are full. My first day I had to go to 3 places before they even needed help, you know. So there is a lot of good, which I think is important because the hopelessness, the trend toward hopelessness is challenging. And again, it's for us here, just check-ins and support. And yes, I mean, the LA, they're trying to get it right. But yes, we've gotten alerts at 4 a.m. that says you need to evacuate now. We've gotten alerts at 4 p.m.
And wait and see if that's correct. I mean, sometimes it's hard to get it to the right areas. So they're trying to figure all that out. Right. And I know that we're going to actually go through together in a few minutes, a little guided meditation from Elise, just a short one, just because a lot of what we're talking about today is the vital importance of caring for yourself and helping others care for themselves. And that's Elise's whole world, has been helping other people care for themselves and their bodies and their minds. It has always been your goal to connect things and to value and respect and appreciate all bodies and how we can make them as comfortable, healthy, comforting as possible. So we're going to do that in a few minutes. I just want to also shout out to Elise, who's not saying it herself, but she has harbored people who have needed homes. She has been volunteering with her husband as much as they can. And they also have to be cautious because you can't be out in that air for too long. You have to wear these special masks. This is a very incredible time, a challenging time, but also, like she said, a time of seeing incredible humanity. So I'm really excited that you're seeing that, and that's something good. Are you willing to take us through a little mini breathing guided meditation?
Absolutely. And if anything makes you grateful for the fresh air you're breathing, which a lot of times we take for granted. I'm in the middle of leading a gratitude challenge for my subscriber group and for my new course. And I'm doing it too. And it's been incredibly helpful. Like at first when the fires happened and we were like in panic mode, I'm like, oh, well, I'll start this later and then I'm like, no, I'm going to start it right now. It's most important. And part of it is, you know, I think that what I've heard from people, and just to preempt this meditation a bit, is that people feel guilty, you know, feeling overwhelmed because their house didn't burn down or they're not in LA. And we need to really, I would encourage us to eliminate that, because disaster fatigue and devastation fatigue is a real thing. I don't care if you live in the UK. I've had people send us, because Nolan's so great, he's doing these runs to the firehouses. They have requested things, like they don't just want a lot of junk, but they do need
husband.
Nolan's my husband. And but they're, you know, we can't get into the frontline fire zones, but he's identified some firehouses that will bring materials to the front lines. And so many people have sent things because they want, one woman from the UK, Amazon stuff. So the point is that people are feeling it worldwide. So there's the first thing, I think, and I am guilty of this as well, is I think, well, I'm so lucky. Who am I to feel pain, or who am I to, and I think that if we can kind of eliminate that you can simultaneously do both. You need to take care of yourself. It's okay that you're hurting. It's okay that you're devastated. It's okay that you're overwhelmed. I mean, I will be honest. This marks maybe the third time in a week I've put on a real shirt.
Yeah.
I've been, trying to
And
trying
you've
to
been
get
showing
through.
up for your subscriber base. So Elise also
Yeah.
has a subscription channel. Just tell us briefly about that so we
Oh yeah.
know how they can get
Yeah,
help if they
yeah.
want help.
I have an Instagram subscription. It is one of my lowest price point offerings. I lowered it as low as Instagram will allow me at this point, which is $9 a month. And there I've been doing some meditations for people, some somatic healing. I'm going to be
Somatic
going
healing.
on and doing 5 minute somatic movement. So somatic is just kind of like a fancy, trendy word that means of the body, but connecting our body, our mind, our breath, our heart. So even in just quick 5 minute somatic movement, which is what I'm going to try to create for the subscriber group, it's helpful. It can move trauma and tension out of your body. So can breath work. So
Right.
yeah, so I just thought, typically, I mean, I do all kinds of meditations, but one I like to do is affirmations. And this one I thought that would be good is I am resilient, right? I was talking to Noel the other day, and like, there are times when I text her, I'm like, I just feel hopeless. I'm like wrapped up in a robe and 5 blankets coming home from, a firehouse drop off, and suddenly like I can't function and I feel hopeless, so it's a lot of fluctuation, but the reality is we are resilient. And I'm seeing that again firsthand here. I see that with what you're sharing. And I think if we can remind ourselves of that, we can allow ourselves to feel the
That's
feelings, trust that we'll
it.
move through them. Because if we push them down and say, who are we to have these feelings when we're safe and we have a home and our kids are okay, it doesn't help you, and it doesn't help your community. So
It's a
I
good
think,
to care. And sometimes that you're going to feel that physically. You're
yeah,
going to cry.
yes,
If you're that
yes,
kind of person, if that's your personality, you're going to feel it that way. Allow it, but then know your resilience. This
that's
is our
right.
mantra for the day. So our affirmation for the day from Elise is I'm resilient.
Yeah.
And we need it more than ever right
Yeah.
now. So
So let's just begin. You can
yeah,
sit as you are. You can close your eyes. You can open your eyes. It's really whatever works for you. If you are comfortable, maybe close your eyes, maybe one hand or both hands to your heart, perhaps the other hand to your core. I like to do one of each. I like to inhale into my beautiful lungs, right? So let's take a nice big exhale together. Just get out all the old air. And when you reach the bottom of your exhale, just breathe out that last little bit of old air. And then begin a nice inhale, truly like from your solar plexus. So if your right hand is on your belly, think about the breath initiating there, and then move it through your left hand on your heart. Open up your chest, feel your lungs and your rib cage expand, and just breathe in an awareness that in this moment, I am safe. In this moment, I am loved. I am thankful for this breath, this life force that I breathe into my healthy lungs, and pause at the top of that breath and just hold it in for about 5 counts. And as you do, if there's a feeling that you're going through that you'd like to invite to move through your body and out of your body on the exhale, let it go. Exhale. And continue as you take your inhales, 5 counts, 6 counts, as long and slow and deep as you can, as aware of the action of breathing, which is subconscious. When we bring it into our consciousness, we are reminded that life, it ebbs and flows. So when you reach the top of your inhale, again, hold it in your lungs, allow it to expand your heart. A reminder that each inhale needs to be exhaled, and a reminder that after each exhale, we have the resilience to inhale once again and to be of service. So as you exhale, let go of anything in your mind or in your heart that you'd invite to release from your physical body. And as you continue to breathe this way, I invite you to remember a time when you thought an obstacle or a challenge would overwhelm you or destroy you or bring you down. As you stay with that thought, hold the top of that breath and realize that you are here, which means you've made it through that challenge. You are still alive. You are healthy. You are well. You are safe. Exhale out any thought that doesn't validate the truth that you will get through this. You are allowed to feel your feelings and allowed to exhale them out and replace them with a better feeling thought. So take a nice deep inhale. On the next inhale, I'd like to remind us that you are encouraged to and allowed to experience joy and happiness and safety and contentment, even in times of great challenge. So breathe in joy. For me, I always find it in something I'm thankful for. I'm thankful for my sister who constantly puts out good work and invites me to join her. I'm thankful for my healthy body at almost 50 years old. I'm thankful for seeing the beauty of humanity come together during times of devastation, and allow yourself to feel that joy. It can actually shift your neural pathways. And then exhale out anything you don't want to invite into your day. I am
Yes.
resilient. I acknowledge the challenge of this experience, and I trust in my ability to make it through.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
It
And
really
I
is
see so many people on your live. I see so many people. If you're watching
say
after the
hi,
fact, that's
friends.
awesome. But I see Denise, I see my friend Alessia, I see Mandy. These are all people who've been on my retreats, like the most amazing people. All of them have asked me what they can do to help. So
Yeah.
again, it's really, and I did a post the other day that I didn't really know what to share. There were a
Right.
few days there where we had people in and out who were evacuated from their homes. And I'm like, I don't have the capacity right now. I have to be here, and I don't even know what to say that would be helpful. But then as I thought about it, I did a post that I think was helpful. And anyway, the post is, you can, wherever you are in the world, you can always contribute. You don't have to have monetary wealth. You don't even have to have the luxury of time. Just checking in with someone you know who's in
One
LA, or someone
person.
you know. One person each day, send a text. Hey, wellness check. How are you? Period. I can't tell you how many of those I've gotten and continue to get. And again, it's going to become more and more important as we go, because
As
right
people
now,
forget, or it becomes out of their consciousness, their immediate
yeah.
consciousness.
I mean, even this morning, I tried to post and share things of value, and someone sent me a DM. Well, why aren't you talking about North Carolina, and why aren't you talking about Florida? And the fact is that it's true that those places are still devastated and homeless from hurricanes earlier this year, and people do move on and forget. For me, I'm here, boots on the ground in LA.
This is
So for
your
me,
zone. Yeah.
I'm trying to help. We have
Well,
active fires still,
this is where
hurting
it's so
people.
important, and this is the vantage point I've heard many times, and I totally agree with. You are a person in the life and in the position and in the time that you are in, and you are capable of certain things that are very productive, and you're capable of other things that are not productive. I know
Yeah.
for a fact you sent information on helping donate to those people as well,
Yeah.
and that's still available,
Yeah.
and those people are in a long game, and their long game is going to be very largely focused on their immediate community
Yeah.
and federal aid and all these
Yes.
things. And that's true. You are one human being, and no matter what anyone tells you, there is zero quality in expecting one human being to do things your way when your way is millions of people across the globe. It's not
Yeah.
possible. We have to understand that we are a
Yeah.
person here now doing the best we can right now.
And that's something I have to remind myself, because
I know.
I
I
do
know.
constantly feel like, okay, right now I'm on this call. Should I be volunteering? Should I be doing a drop off? Should I be, but this right now is productive. This right now I feel is the best use of our time and our influence. And what I love about you, Noel, is like you always use your influence for
My
good, whether
little
it's,
bitty influence is used
well,
well. Thank you very much.
all of us,
And yours
all
too.
of us have influence, and it's one of the things that I try to share particularly. So I have a new course. It's called the Limitless Life Blueprint, and I have some amazing people in there. And as we work the first module, which is a goal setting, and most of it's built around the 8 pillars of longevity and being healthy. One of the things that I added when people do goals, there's an old style
Right.
of goal setting called SMART
Yeah, I
goals.
know
I
it. I,
created SMART.
I did a
Yeah,
webinar where I talked about it a little bit, but yeah.
so good. So I added a plus to Smart Plus, and one of
Great.
the plus, which is what we can add, is how do our goals impact our community? And interestingly, a lot of people asked me in the course, like, well, what does this mean? Like, I don't have a social media. I'm like, your community starts with your immediate family. Who lives in your house with you? Your kids, your partner,
Who do you
yourself.
see
If
every
it's just
day?
you, you need
Yeah.
to have an impact on you. Who do you see when you go get your coffee? How do you treat the barista? This is all your community. You don't have to have a global
Right.
reach to impact community, because if you share a smile or a kind word or treat someone with respect, that you see at a coffee shop, it could adjust their day so they will treat people with respect and have more compassion for people. So I think, yeah, we can really make a difference however we can. And
Community
I
goals are
prefer,
impactful, and adding that as
yes,
adding community goals as an overall, well, first of all, as you know from your studies in longevity,
yeah.
it is directly helpful to help
Oh,
people to be part of the community.
and one of the 8 pillars of longevity, there's thousands of pillars of longevity,
Yeah.
but there's 8 that every medical doctor, every neurologist, every human in the expertise agrees on. And one of the 8 is community. You cannot have longevity. That studies show people who live to be centenarians, over 100 years
Yeah.
old, they all have community, a strong community. And that can be 2 people, it can be 200,000 people. It really doesn't matter. It's what resonates with you. But again, right now is a time where one of the things, and I took the science of well-being via Yale,
Yeah.
so I got a certification in the science of well-being. And all of the studies show people think what's going to make them happy is monetary things, success, praise, fame, an abundance of friends. What actually has shifted people's neurological wiring, what we call rewiring the brain for happiness, is being of service. It's not
Of service,
surprising to me. But
even to
when I
yourself,
was,
to others. Yeah.
even to yourself, and that's okay. You are deserving of your own service. But
Yes.
like for me, being here, what as soon as we put out a word that we have a guest room and we have a couple spaces to harbor
Right.
4
Yeah.
people, right? If they're couples. Um, and just as soon as someone came, I was like, "Ugh," I immediately felt happier because I felt like, okay, this is small, but it's something being of help.
Making a
I'm helping.
positive difference in the vibration of the whole world.
Yes.
As goofy as some people might think that sounds, probably not this audience, because I know a lot of these people follow you, but
Yeah.
understanding that that is
Yeah.
impactful, and that is help what changes the world bit by bit.
Yeah,
And
and
it was
Julie, who
so
just came on live,
who
I
did.
just opened for my friend
Okay.
Julie. She was on my retreat. She just came on live. She just sent me, I just opened a package of Amazon that she sent for Nolan's Firehouse drop-offs because they have requests. They want chapstick. They want, portable single electrolytes. They need bars. This is what
Things
they
that
want.
don't spoil, that can be brought
Yes.
easily. Yeah.
And Julie just sent a package. My friend Alexandra sent a package from, and not everyone has the means or the time to do that, and that's okay. Post a resource on your feed, even if it reaches 10 people.
Right.
Post say a prayer, do an
Yeah.
intention, do a meditation. But I do think first and foremost, I do want to encourage people or give people ultimate permission to take care of themselves,
Yeah.
because it's okay that you're not in a disaster zone. You can still you're
Yeah.
allowed to have the feelings that you have, and please do take care of yourself so you can show up for your kids, so you have
Sure.
answers for people in your
And
community.
I know you, this is what you mean. Come at it with a compassion. So caring is
Yes.
great. Um, Getting lost in a spin of hopelessness isn't great. It's okay
Yeah.
to feel those feelings, but we have to remember that, our care doesn't have to mean, total, the rush to judgment, the anger. We feel all these things. We have to
Yeah.
control them, and I think we have to focus on the compassion. So
Well, I
thank
agree.
you.
We have to focus on what we spread, because I will say, for people here that I have had direct contact with who've lost everything, it doesn't help them to hear politically what went wrong. It doesn't help them to hear this blame or that blame. What's helpful is spreading a message of hopefulness. And then when the time is appropriate, of course, forensic investigations will reveal a lot, but it's important. I feel your feelings, but
To
the feelings you
encourage
choose to share publicly, maybe choose hopefulness, maybe choose support, maybe choose kindness, maybe choose compassion instead
encouragement
of
and things that
instead of
will help.
inflammatory. Not to make a pun of
I
inflammatory,
know.
but there's enough fires here.
Yeah.
What we need is cooling water. What we need is relief.
Soothing.
What we need is compassion.
Right.
Yeah.
Compassion, key of everything. I really think it's interesting because a lot of people confuse them, and they think caring is compassion. It's not necessarily compassion. So try to put that first, and for yourself as well. I love that. I
Yeah.
think that's so important to
For
hear.
yourself. And that's the thing, is I think so many of us feel guilty. We feel like it's selfish to take care of ourselves. We feel like we're terrible people if we experience joy in the wake of disaster. And really the opposite is true. Really the
It
opposite is
has
true.
to strengthen you. That's where your strength comes from, right?
Yeah,
What is the purpose if not to find joy again and to share joy? So it's great to
absolutely.
hear that from the front lines. I mean, I hate to
Yeah.
say it, but that's really what it is. Today, what are you hearing are things shifting to new neighborhoods? I mean, I don't want to get you as a reporter for like the
Yeah.
news, but if you want to talk about maybe some of that, like what the foreseeable future is holding and how maybe that's affecting like your creative community and
Yeah.
and what you're
Yeah,
seeing.
it's every hour it's different. With the winds, the concern is the reason we've been on high alert and continue to be on high alert, I believe through this evening, is the Santa Ana winds. And if you're not familiar with them,
Yeah.
every year we have Santa Ana winds, but every year we don't have the drought, we don't have the dryness, we don't have a lot of the things
Or you
that
don't have the extra vegetation apparently that grew during the lush season and then dried
exactly,
out. And so
because
now
that's exactly right.
it's
Because
just
we've had a lot of rain in the past couple of years, much very unusual for LA. I've been
before
here 20
April.
years,
Yeah.
So of course, our planet is changing,
Mhm.
but exactly, it led to more of that. But then the winds, it could take an ember from, say, the Palisades fire and
They
jump it
said
across
5
the
miles.
405,
Five
and then
miles.
suddenly there's an up to 5 miles,
So
exactly
if
right.
you're
And that's
hearing
huge.
out if you're hearing out there nonsense about why can't they, why
Yeah.
aren't they, all this judgment, it is nonsense when you experience firsthand the physical
Yeah.
weather
Yeah.
of the situation and how no
Yeah.
human being can
Yeah.
overcome that. So they just have to try to contain it. So
Yeah.
again,
And
with
so, it's
compassion,
amazing that they've, we have,
incredible.
many of the fires have been 100% contained. The ones that started that way, because our firefighters have been on the front line,
Right.
prepared they tend to focus their energy, of course, on protecting residential areas and
Trying to
allowing the
slow the
fire.
spread. Yeah.
Yes. So right now, last I heard, the Palisades fire was 19% contained, which sounds small, but is actually quite huge. And many of the fires, a bit like the Kenneth fire, 100% contained, Glendale fire, Studio City fire, 100% contained. We do still have the Hearst fire and the Eaton fire. So this spreads across, more than 50 miles,
Yeah.
right? And they are still burning. And so again, I think that the high alert, today is Wednesday. I think the high alert is meant, for the winds at least, is meant to end. Hopefully by tonight, there'll be a respite before more Santa Ana winds can whip the fires so fast. And it's amazing. Like day 3, maybe, we had someone here who was evacuated from their Encino home. And at the front porch, from our front porch, we could see the fire. And not only that, but you can see it spread. And watching it in real time spread so fast is not only frightening and alarming, but it did feel hopeless for a while. I don't know how any 37,000 human being firefighters are going to combat this, and they did. So
You just
it's
they're rising to this challenge that seems
yeah.
impossible, and therefore they're making a difference. And I
And
think that's what everyone is doing.
yes, it's what
Every
everyone
good
is
human
doing.
with a good soul is doing that.
Yeah.
If
And
you're seeing
it's
behavior that is not that is not trying to rise to a challenge, that is wasting time and energy on trying to lay blame it's not the time. It's not the time. It's time for problem solving.
yes, yeah.
Notice where things may have gone wrong, but like fix them. That's what these people are doing. They're not trying to be perfect, they're trying to be effective. And that's so important.
Yes.
You cannot aim for perfection and pleasing everybody, just like Elise said, with you're going to get comments when you're an influencer, when you're somebody I don't get so many because I have a very small following and I've had a few, trust me. It's bizarre. I mean, the way people will try to tell you what you should be doing in any given moment to be perfect for them and their vantage point is, I mean, I don't want to get negative, and I am, I guess, but I'm trying to say, let's all
Everybody has
stop that.
feelings and they have their perspective, and it's true. The point is, from
Can't
some
be
things,
perfect.
you can't be perfect, but also it is true. Like, we are here in LA in it for the long game. Yes, we hear a lot about the Palisades, which
Mhm.
is devastated. I mean,
Yeah.
I was actually on my way. So I study with a hormone expert, and that's where I get all my hormone testing done. I was on my way to her office.
Wow.
I was pulling up. I mean, I saw the fire. This is 20 minutes after it started. And
You
I was on
turned
the phone with
around.
mom, actually. I was on the phone with mom. I'm like, I'm going to have to get off the phone. And I called the office. I'm like, I can't come. And you guys need to consider,
Get
like,
out.
please turn on some alerts. Something's going on. Like, I see fire and smoke. That building no longer exists now, right? So we hear a lot about the Palisades fire, but there is a fire, that burned through a community called Altadena,
Yeah.
which is generational. These people, they've lost everything. They don't have anyone to post for them. They don't have anyone to stay with. They're in
Yeah,
evacuation centers.
LA itself
Yeah.
is a working class
Yeah.
community, despite all the wealthy
100%.
people who are
Yeah.
absolutely there.
Yeah.
Similar to New York. I mean, look at New York City. You have the the richest people in the world own property there, but they also are run by the working class people, by the everyday people. And Altadena, like I said, historically Black community, incredibly resilient and strong, and homeowners and community, pillars of the community, but not people who maybe have tons of money in reserves, and whose insurance has been taken away because of corruption and big corporate America, sadly. So they have lost insurance they'd always paid for fire because fires are too prevalent. So these are people, just please remember that though the Palisades is a very wealthy community in general, there are many communities affected, and people in the Palisades who live and work there and have apartments.
The amount of jobs, I just posted a resource for people who are now out of jobs because, the job resources that were there is
many people. And I mean, I'm an interior designer, right? So I actually work in a pretty moderate market. So I work for, I'd say upper middle class, average folks who've saved a lot of money and have one home. A lot of my friends work for these really wealthy people and have designed these beautiful homes. And, there are entire industries that are kind of stopped there for the luxury industry, which not for nothing employs a lot of people as well, who are very average people. So again, compassion's the way to go. There's a lot of people being affected. It is not just the wealthy. And I think the wealthy have every right to also feel very depressed and sad about losing their home.
This is a human issue. This is not a political issue. It is not a wealth issue. It is an issue of being kind and compassionate for
and they'll have the added support of being able to rebuild more easily. Yes. If that's even what, like you said, the trauma here is that there's even questions about how to rebuild. Do you rebuild?
Well, like we just got an alert in our area that is not, I mean, no, at the moment with the direction of the winds and the prediction where we live is not an immediate danger.
However,
but the air quality and the water quality, we just were advised we need to boil water if we want to shower with it because there's so many toxins in the water, right? So then again, you have to figure out, okay, what is alarmist? What is real? But it's very real. I was, as you know, downtown on 9/11 in New York City.
You lived through that as well. And so
it feels very much the same. That first day when I was driving into the fire, I had a little like PTSD because when we saw the smoke from the first building, I was down slightly south of Soho at an audition.
I remember.
Everyone's like, oh, it's fine. It's nothing. It's probably just an accident. I'm like, you know what? This doesn't seem fine. I'm going to go home. Like, you
and
can't
I actually remember because I was there.
You were the only one to make it through.
I called you immediately because I was actually on the road in Ohio listening to this happen. And so I remember calling you and being so grateful. And I'm not trying to out you. You were devastated. You were in tears.
Yeah.
It was horrible what you were seeing firsthand. Yeah. And you were able to walk the 96 blocks home or 108 or whatever it was with your friend. And you saw, again, the best of humanity there, despite the worst things that have happened. And people can get through and that there is a lot. There's a lot of challenge to come. I mean, a lot of those firefighters and policemen who were not supported, were dying of cancer and all these things. So you do have
that's what I was going to say is that was granted they were very substantial buildings, but two buildings, urban fires and urban explosions like that, they release different kinds of chemicals that the air quality index can't measure. Air quality index measures natural pollutants, measure wildfire pollutants. But so these are conversations that we're like, the long-term devastation, we're still in crisis fight or flight mode, like let's get the fires out, we're still in that mode, but once we are like,
but you can't
is the air healthy
pretend that it's not going to affect everyone around the entire perimeter who are experiencing these chemical things. And that's where my worry for you comes from. And I know a lot of friends who are fighting illnesses and all these things. This is a scary time. So again, I think we're here to give hope though, to recognize, we are resilient and you are more than anyone, you all who are listening, you probably all know this because you're probably all Elise's, big followers of Elise's already. But the work she does and the subscription service that she offers, these are legitimately supportive of your overall wellness, health, longevity. And it is important to find that support, especially when you're going through incredibly challenging times.
And that's what I was going to say when people ask about community too. Like, yes, we all have our in real life community, but thank you, because these communities, when I go into the subscriber communities, I just, anytime I want to feel better, I have a moment where I'm like, oh my gosh, I will go into my subscription. Steph, who's on, is one of
Hi,
my
Steph.
subscribers. She's an amazing human, and Noel knows Steph as well. She got to hang out with mom and dad when they were here. But you know, it's, I go in there and I see the support and I'm lifted up. So if you are feeling a lack of community where you are in real life, or a lack of time to get out into the world, the subscriber community, my new course, these are it's a community of game changers. And I don't even like to say when people are like, oh, it's a like-minded community, because I think it's important we have a diversity in communities. So, you know, these are
You're
people who are
like-minded in
changing,
the one area of wanting to build
like-minded
health,
and wanting
wellness.
wellness. Yes, like-minded and wanting personal wellness, community wellness, the wellness of the world, the wellness of our physical, mental, and emotional bodies. Yes, we're all like-minded in that. But, you know, everyone from like CEOs to best-selling offers to moms of five who are just discovering what they want to do with their life. These are, as Steph's so sweet, she says it's a high vibe. But it's there if you need it.
Right.
You know, it's
It's for you. Look
yeah.
into something like that. If it's not Elise's
Yeah,
subscription,
anything, a community of
read.
support where you
Read
can,
someone you believe in
yeah.
on Substack. Like,
Yes,
um,
yes, yes.
there's a lot of beauty available to you. And if something doesn't feel quite right, feels inflammatory, please don't consume it.
Yeah.
And be careful what you consume,
Yeah.
and love one another. And I think that's the best we can do. I mean,
It is, yeah. And that's enough. And at the end of the day, hopefully that's what
are
will
you,
be the saving grace.
I know we're going over a little bit. Is that okay? Just
Yeah.
a little. Okay. You are seeing in the creative community. I mean, obviously, right now is really desperation time, so the creating is different.
Yeah.
But you are seeing still people creating opportunity for support. People
Yes.
being really creative in who they're sending things to, how they're helping people get out of areas.
Yes.
Is that something you're also seeing, and that you can,
Yeah.
I don't know, verbalize? I guess you
Yeah.
already did, like what people are
Yeah.
doing, but
Yeah, it's very interesting, because there's overall support, which is sending essentials, showing up, making sure firefighters are stocked and things like that. But then there are, as you say, a lot of creators creating things like people are donating instruments, you know, to the community because they feel like making music can be therapeutic. People are offering, you know, sound bowl healings online or
people
in
are
real life.
organizing play dates for the
Yes,
children at parks so that they can
yes.
remember to be children in
That's
order
right.
to find
Right.
joy.
That's right. And you see that, you see, you know, anyone who's creative, but, you know, even what you're doing as an interior designer, you know, it's important that we curate sanctuary. And if you
This
don't
is the
have a home
thing.
right now and you're in a hotel, someone like Noel can teach you how to make that place you're
Yeah,
staying
and
that's
even
not your
like
home feel
how to
safe, right?
remember that you can rebuild, and like what you can
Yeah.
do slowly to just make things feel more like home. There's a lot of people in our interior design community, for what it's worth, offering that kind of stuff. Like, when you're ready, we are here to help you with
Yeah.
the services to like figure out what's important, figure out how you can create some space for yourself with whatever money you do receive or however you do
Yeah.
rebuild. And just the importance of the creative community and making people feel alive and like inspired, even when they have to survive, because you
Yeah,
deserve
yeah,
that.
because yes, you deserve, exactly, you deserve that. And I have a friend who he and his family lost their home, and he's a writer, and he's an incredible human, but he still posts things that are inspiring, have a little sense of humor to show that
Yeah,
we're gonna get there,
yeah.
you
And
know?
I
Yeah.
mostly I'm concerned for your health. I know there's
Thank
also like you got to kind of
you.
stay and protect your home and protect your neighbors' homes and like make sure. It's just such
Yeah,
a
Nolan's
challenge. So
so good. You know, we have elderly neighbors, and he's always checking on them and making sure
yeah,
everyone has what he's like, you know, in our neighbor, like maybe online people know me, but in our neighborhood, I'm literally just Nolan's wife. They're like,
yeah.
oh, Nolan's wife, Boomer's mom, you know, because he walks the
He
dogs
walks every
and checks on
day.
everyone. So I focus on this community and he focuses on
Yeah.
that community, and they're both
Well, you're
important.
doing
Yeah.
incredible
Yeah.
work. It's important. Everything we're doing is important. And if
That's
you do
right.
have questions, thank you for talking to us from your perspective while
Yeah.
being there.
Yeah.
And how, through trauma, we are able to both experience the trauma, allow the trauma, even if you don't think you deserve to feel the trauma, you can feel it.
Yes.
You can focus on how to heal it.
Yeah.
You can give
Right.
yourself time for everything. And you don't have to be perfect. You just have to try
Yeah.
to be better, I guess.
And yeah,
Like,
you don't even
do better.
have to be okay right now. You
Yeah.
can be like, okay, today, you know, I got out of bed,
Try
I
to do
brushed
better
my
tomorrow.
teeth. I texted someone in LA. That's today. Great. Like, and know that tomorrow, yeah, sometimes you have to give yourself space. You have to give yourself time. As a recovering overworker and feeling like the harder I worked, I've had to learn to incorporate moments of rest and recovery. I usually text Noel when
No,
I need to remember that, but
ditto.
yeah,
We're just texting
it's
each
okay to
other and
not
like,
be okay right now. It's not, it's
yeah,
okay. I'm not okay.
right.
I mean, I'm okay,
But
but
like you
like,
said, what you said is
no.
so interesting, and I know I have to wrap it up, I guess. But what you said is so interesting is that you also go to seek community. You're not just some guru who knows
Oh, no,
everything.
no.
What you are is a leader, able to connect people, and
Yeah,
the real beauty of what you do as an influencer, as a wellness and travel expert, and all these things is that you connect people. You give people
yeah,
a connection to their dreams, their
yeah,
goals, their future, and that is we need that right now because we're
yeah,
going to have to go through a lot of bull crap
yeah.
through life.
I love your fake swears. It's so funny. Yeah.
Oh, I have real
Um,
swears. I have,
yeah,
as
yeah,
you know, my poor
yeah,
kids.
yeah.
My poor
But no,
kids.
it is. I think when we are excited about our own futures, it gives us a joy and an appreciation of the beauty of life, even as it is, and like grounding in gratitude. Like, every day, part of my challenge, I do I write out and then repeat 10 things I'm thankful for, and this is actually, like, again, if you want inspiration, my friend Christy Christensen, who's amazing and everyone
I
should follow her.
love her.
She's fighting a very aggressive form of cancer for 2 years now. She's one of the most amazing humans. She gave me this book. It's called The Magic, and it's just a gratitude challenge. And she said, I know the filter. It's like anytime you press a button, like it gives you lashes or something. Um, but she said this absolute, like, being grounded in gratitude while going through aggressive chemo. Like, you want to talk about someone who really
Inspires resilience.
it inspires resilience. She said this absolutely changed her mindset, which absolutely changed her wellness, right? Like, even her physical wellness benefited from gratitude, right? I'm thankful that I'm alive today. I'm thankful that I have this breath. I'm thankful that, you know, this part of my body is healthy. Whatever you can find that you're thankful for. And honestly, if you're listening to this, you have so much. Yeah, right. You have an internet connection, you have some kind of device that connects you to the world. That's already amazing and something to be thankful for. But really, I find in times of challenge, finding the gratitude in your life, finding the hope and the excitement for your future can help
Yeah.
inspire that in others too.
Even if you
Yeah.
don't feel it every second,
No,
finding
if you
that
don't feel
gratitude.
it ever, then you're not going to feel anything every second. There's
Exactly.
ebbs
You know
and
what?
flows.
I'm just gonna say one more thing, if that's okay. So I should leave it with what you said because you're way more eloquent than me. But
Oh,
anyway,
I don't know about
maybe I'll edit this out. But it's like an idea of living for the Wednesdays, right? The highlight reels are beautiful and they're wonderful to experience. And I'm not saying don't enjoy those. Expect some of the very bad things to happen. That's also part of life. But like, what we really want to do is curate a place where we are living and feeling whole in those Wednesdays,
yeah.
just every day.
That's right. It's so great because as Steph just said, I'm glad Noelle reminds me
Oh,
to take solace, right?
and other
But
people.
Steph is
Yeah.
what's cool, what's interesting about Steph, to piggyback on that, she's lost over 100 pounds. That's how I met her, through my Beachbody programs. But she started on a Tuesday. And so her whole thing is, don't wait for a Monday.
Yeah.
Don't live for Saturdays. Start on a Tuesday. And
Right.
again, just like you said, be happy for the Wednesdays. Like, if you can create a Wednesday that you enjoy, taking your
Yeah.
kids where they need to go and doing all of these things, that's a great
That's a
life, and
great
a lot
life.
to be
The other stuff
thankful
is
for.
extra or extra debilitating.
Right.
It's either extra inspiring, extra debilitating. The rest of it is the reality. This is where we live every day, and we can do so much good and be
Yeah.
so inspired in those days. And you really teach us that. So
Oh, well, thank you. So do you guys.
I only
Thank
cried
you for having me,
once a little
Noelle.
bit.
Yeah,
And then
I love seeing you and
me
getting
too.
to visit, and
We'll
thank
see
you
you
for inviting
soon.
me to your
Yeah.
community. Yes.
I'll
If
see
you
you
can
soon, and
if you can
I'll
tolerate two big dogs, we may come out for some clean air
I
soon.
know I said if you need to, you can bring the dogs, even though usually I love your dogs, but they don't come on vacation. But they're
No, they
welcome
don't. I mean,
in an
Boomer,
emergency.
he's
I like
gotten
to
so
visit
good.
them
He's
in
so
their
sweet.
house.
What's that?
I love to visit them in their house, my little
Oh,
nephew
yeah, yeah.
dogs. My nephew
Yeah,
dogs.
I mean, they're big. Well, Larkin's very chill, but Boomer is has a big personality, let's just say. But honestly, it's been so great to have him. Again, one on my gratitude list today is, like, I'm thankful that when I wake up in the morning, Boomer makes me laugh because he, like, jumps on my face, then
You
really
can't
wants to get Larkin to
be
play.
that
Larkin's
serious.
still.
Yeah.
dead asleep. Yeah, it's just like you have to look at and appreciate the joys where they are. And again, a reminder: you're allowed to experience any range of emotion. You're also allowed to experience joy and gratitude in your life, and just know that what, and like you said, any feeling's going to pass. The feeling of joy is not going to be eternal. You have to keep coming back to it via gratitude, and the feeling of despair is not eternal. Keep coming back to it via service or connection, or however it helps you.
Yay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Love you.
I love
We
you.
usually do a show and tell, but you don't have to unless you have something,
Oh,
because today you are the show and
okay. Well,
tell.
I do have something. It's embarrassing. I didn't know we were doing a show and tell, but like, okay,
Always.
I don't want anyone to call this a Christmas tree anymore. This is now my New Year's
This
tree.
is a New Year's
Okay.
tree.
It's
This
still
is
up.
a support tree.
I took all the decorations off, but Nolan knows me so well. So he bit like after January, like for 4th, he like bit by bit starts putting Christmas decorations away. You know, all the Christmas decorations are away, but he's like, you know, it's a Balsam Hill
Yeah.
tree. So it's not a fire hazard. Because
Yeah.
someone else was like, that's a fire hazard. I'm like, this is not a fire hazard. It's a
Big
Balsam Hill tree with
tree.
LED lights. But thank you for your concern.
People's
But
opinions are the best.
it is still up because I'm like, you know what? It brings me joy at night when I see the
Twinkly
lights.
lights.
It makes me happy. It's now my New Year's tree. I'll put it
Yeah.
away when I stop needing the
Yeah.
emotional support.
And honestly, it's legit through January anyway. I
It's
think.
legit for January. I feel like I'll put it down before Valentine's Day.
Maybe.
But, yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
But well, also, whatever. I love it. So
I get it. You
maybe I'll
live for those
decorate it
things. If
for
what brings you
Valentine's
joy, it
Day.
doesn't harm anybody else. So beautiful.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, I love you. We'll talk soon. I'll be
I
texting you
love you
soon.
too. And thank you
But
everyone for tuning in.
yes,
Love you
everybody
guys.
else, thank you for tuning in. You're the best. Bye.
Bye.